Are we seeing a possible dynasty from this PSG side? PSG go to back-to-back UCL finals. What a crazy feat this is for this team. I'm not saying people didn't expect them to be here, but to actually go to back-to-back UCL finals is just incredible. And you won it last year. You would have thought, oh, maybe the team wouldn't be as hungry. Certain teams, a guy gets a high ego. You never know. Nope. This group is still completely bought in, and they are now looking to make at least history and put themselves up there as one of the best teams that we've seen in a very, very long time. And who else but Dembele would score for PSG in the second leg, literally does it within 3 minutes, and just puts instant pressure on Bayern. Shout out to Kvaratskhelia. Beautiful, beautiful run. Just created a ton of havoc literally at the beginning of the game, put a ton of pressure on Bayern, and then had a fantastic cross. Falls right to Dembele. He finishes. Those two are just one of the best partnerships, I would say, in the entire world right now for football, at least. It's just incredible. Again, and it could be either or. Like, one of them wants to assist, the other finishes. Again, both these guys can do it at the highest level, and we've seen that in last year's Champions League and now this year's. And it's just incredible. You can definitely see there's some chemistry there, and obviously with the aided rest that PSG are getting, these guys are fresh, they're ready to go, and they're made for these games, and they're showing up in these games. That's what they've been brought in to PSG to do, and they're getting it done. Felt like that goal was a real blow for Bayern early. It just felt like the atmosphere got a little flatter, and the players instantly started to get a little bit more anxious, at least from what I saw. The only reason I say that is because of the fashion of the goal. It was so quick, and it was so early. It just happened pretty much out of nowhere. Honestly, going into the game, it made sense why that would happen, because we were all expecting the shootout that we had gotten in the first leg. But that was just not the case today. And now looking at it, after the full 90, man, that was just an insane goal because it put that much pressure on Bayern so quick and made them have to really, really go for the attack, which I'm sure they were already anticipating to do, again, based off of last week. But this just really put a ton of pressure on them early and pretty much made that, again, it was only a 2-goal deficit, which doesn't sound like that big in this type of leg from what we've seen again in the first leg, but it just made it feel like a very, very tall task to overcome. And again, I felt like that energy transferred to both the Bayern squad and the Bayern crowd. And if you've been watching my UCL videos over the last couple of weeks, you know that I've been talking about PSG's defense. It's not just the attack that they get it done with, it's also their defense. And again, we didn't see that last week, but you saw that earlier in the leg against Liverpool, in that second leg, where Liverpool looked very, very good coming out of halftime and just went on this 20-minute crazy stretch with the Anfield crowd backing them. And PSG did not let one goal in. Liverpool had multiple shots, and they still couldn't score. And that's what I wanted to give PSG so much credit for was, yes, this team is the, high-flying attacking team that just is relentless. They have such a motor. But people don't want to always give them credit for their defending because it's not the sexiest thing to see. It's not the, the prettiest thing. But these guys, when they want to defend and when they are asked to do it, they will do it. And Dembele even said, if you do not press for Enrique, you will be on the bench. So that's just a mentality that's been installed in this club, and you see it just every single time they're in a big match. It's just relentless, whether they're going for the goal like Kvaratskhelia to Dembele or they're defending and sitting back and doing what they need to do. I just thought it was such a pleasure to watch. Again, a little bit of a contrast from what we were expecting, but I thought it was just great to see a team that is versatile is the best type of team in my opinion. And you really didn't see much out of the main playmakers for Bayern. Yes, Kane got his goal, but he just was so limited earlier and really getting many chances to score. I thought Diaz was okay, but man, Elise really disappointed me. I thought he had some chances early, but then that was really it. Just never felt like he really got it going in this game, which was surprising. The last thing I have to say about this game is, what is this legacy now for Bayern, specifically this team? I felt like this team was just so good this year. They were so good, they were so consistent, and we saw, they've been able to wrap up the Bundesliga. They've been one of the best teams in the UCL. Is their legacy really just going to be that they were just on the wrong side of the bracket and they ended up getting PSG before the final? I think that's probably what it's gonna be, because this team is so good. I mean, they're setting some crazy numbers with that front three. Again, Harry Kane and Olise are having borderline Ballon d'Or seasons, depending on what happens with the World Cup. And just for all to fall apart like that in such a weird second leg at home at the Allianz as well, I don't know. It just feels a little hollow, I guess. It just feels a little hollow. I know that's kind of what these big clubs in the other leagues are built on. It's getting to the UCL, and if you don't win the UCL, it's I guess, a failure to an extent, even though you still want to win the league, of course. But, man, I just expected a lot more for this Bayern side. And not saying the run that they didn't go on wasn't great, because they did match up against a historical team, it's looking like. But at the same time, I just did not see as much of the fight. And really, I guess this is more on company. I didn't see as much of the adapting and just having a plan B. It just didn't feel like Bayern had many other punches to throw once they were punched in the face by PSG so early. And I think that's what's so disappointing for me. Now the final is set, though. PSG versus Arsenal. Look, I'm an Arsenal fan, so I'm biased here. I want the Gunners to win, but this is about the hardest chance, or hardest side you're gonna have to face in this Champions League tie, just because everyone knew how good PSG were, but again, we saw them go back to their ways back in these knockout rounds where they're just clinical, high defending, high level attacking, the pressing, just the whole nine. It's just they're flying all over the place, and this is the best side that you're going to beat. So if you're Arsenal, in my opinion, you wouldn't want it any other way, because you're playing the best team in the Champions League. I mean, if Arsenal beat PSG in the UCL final, there's going to be nothing people can say about them. But we'll see. It's going to be a rematch from last year's semis as well, and really, again, even though I did just gush about PSG's defense, the attack is really, what they're branded on. I want to see how will this attack handle the Arsenal defense, and again, how will Arsenal cope with the, fighting for the Premier League while still going for this. I mean, PSG pretty much have, it's not confirmed, but they pretty much are going to win their league, and they're most likely going to be doing a lot of resting heading into this final. So just some curious things to look at before we really break this down. That's all I had in this one. Game was a little underwhelming in my opinion, but still, you love to see it. It's the semifinals. We get this only one time a year, so you got to enjoy it. But if you like this video, feel free to give it a like. If you like this type of content, feel free to subscribe. Drop any of your thoughts down below. TikTok will also be in the description. If you made it this far in the video, I greatly, greatly appreciate you. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace, guys.